there is a very real phenomenon going on right now where the people who would know the most in the labs are basically saying there will be nothing left for humans to do. Really, when you read between the lines of what they're saying in different ways, but they're saying your harness doesn't matter because within a year, the AI will be spinning up harnesses as needed. And you won't even be the consumer because it'll be talking to other AIs, and beyond the Erdős problem, it'll be solving fundamental problems of material science and physics and math and engineering and health. Great. Yes, but then, that's taking the average person out on the street. They're shifting very, very fast. It may be the case that the big companies are vulnerable because now anyone can create software. It may be the case that they have more of an advantage because they have distribution. They could just fill all the gaps with all the software they can dream up. But I actually think this is a renaissance for individual software creators. Now, one other tweet that I put out was something like, there's no market for venture-backed software anymore, or pure software is not venture investable anymore.
I think it's like pure software is rapidly becoming uninvestable, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that's a watered-down version of what I really wanted to say, which is that pure software is uninvestable. I would just full stop right there. If your whole advantage is like, hey, I'm building cool software that other people don't know how to build, I think that's uninvestable. And it's uninvestable for two reasons. One is they can just hack it together today. And the second is the coding agents are getting better so quickly that within a year or even less, they'll probably be building scalable software with good architecture. And so people want to invest in software. So even in the US, whenever you get a hardware company funded, the VCs will always ask you, well, what's the software lock-in? What's the software piece, right? And so this is why, like I used to say, hardware is the moat that buys you time to build a software castle, right? But guess what? Claude Code burned software down. Software was eating the world and AI ate software. So now software is commoditized. The moment you can specify it, an AI can one-shot it or two-shot it or get to it within a couple of shots.
YC went from like 5% to about 25% hardware, 20 to 25% hardware batch to batch.
But hardware is also commoditized by China. Any hardware I can make here, you can make in China more cheaply and more easily. The whole ecosystem is there. Shenzhen has like 3,000 manufacturers of this tiny little cable all in one little area.
Thanks, Nixon, for normalizing relations with China and taking us off the dollar standard, or the gold standard.
And so bringing... It's also incredibly fun. It takes the number of people who might have built apps from like 0.1% to 1 or 2 or 3% in the populace. Don't get me wrong. The majority of people are not going to code their own apps. For the majority of people, computers are sort of this magic black box and who knows what was going on there anyway. So the fact that it's become 10x or 100x easier still doesn't mean anything to them. It's still a black box. But for the people who are creative, who are self-motivated, and who are articulate and have a good vision, you can code now. There's nobody standing in between.
I think we all come from a world where advantages like had some durability and you could actually operationalize your advantage against the rest of the world, but that's just like narrowing down in time. So, you might have the smartest model, but what are you going to do with it in 2 weeks, in 3-4 weeks until somebody else has it too? So I think there's a different part of the game theory that we've not experienced before, which is the time contraction of any of these advantages. And I don't think it makes it harder to predict who's going to be in charge of anything because, like you said, a few months later, the smartest model is now open source.
Guys, I'm so fucking worried.
This is one of my tweets I'm prouder of a couple of years back. I said, soon everybody will have AI anxiety. Like we're all feeling it. We're all feeling AI anxious, right? It's incredibly...
I'm jubilant. I am AI jubilant.
But they would be writing code, fixing bugs, responding to people, and they would have no ego if they wrote a lot of code to fix a bug and then he just threw it all away. So I just find that kind of a feature very compelling. You truly can have one-person, two-person software companies now that can scale to millions upon millions of users and make billions upon billions of dollars. That has happened already in the past with people like Notch and Satoshi Nakamoto, and very small teams like the original Instagram team that just made a huge dent with very few people, or the original WhatsApp team. But I think you're going to see it more and more now. Will not let you build apps that can be downloaded on anyone's iPhone. You have to key them against your specific devices. So with my friends and family, I can deliver them apps. I can't yet deliver them to everybody. However, this whole experience is incredibly addictive. You can get extremely customized, tuned apps for you. Now, does this mean that normal apps don't have a place? No, of course they have a place. Those apps that cover the broad use cases, they're going to be the best of breeds. Someone's hand-tuned them and slaved over them. So you're not going to beat that if your use case is covered by one of the broad use cases. But when you want something truly custom or private, these are great for niche apps that only you would want, or you want to tune them to your specific use case. This is going to be incredible. And it's very addictive because, like in a video game, the way a video game is designed is that it keeps you hooked by giving you feedback and rewards for doing work. And it's a lot of value. In fact, more value. All of us, everyone here, our productivity has gone through the roof. And basic economics normally says that when someone's productivity is higher, they're wealthier, they're better off. You actually hire more of them, not less of them. Maybe some of you are not hiring junior people anymore, although I don't know if that's necessarily true. I don't think of it as junior versus senior. If someone is really good with AI and they're really smart and creative, I want to hire them more than ever because the leverage I'm going to get out of them is incredible.
That's a new requirement. We're hiring juniors and super seniors.
Away, that's scary.
I think historically it was the returns were like 70% intelligence, 30% agency, and now it's going to be 70% agency, 30% intelligence. And that will shift further as the models get better and better.
I'm actually not sure about that, Max. I'll take the counterpoint on that. I think it's 99% intelligence and 1% agency, because then the agents will exercise the agency, right? You will literally be like, hey, agent, I'm making smart decisions and thinking big thoughts. Just go implement stuff. In fact, sometimes
I mean, the one thing you can't replace is human desire. Even if robots have their own desires, they cannot replace human desire. So as long as humans have desires and there are AIs and robots that can help fulfill them, then you always need humans in the loop. And you'll always have
the moment I find out I'm talking to an AI or I'm reading the work of an AI or I'm even looking at art created by an AI, I'm completely uninterested, assuming it's completely done by an AI. Now, if it's a human using an AI,
disagree. Still, right? But anyway, that's welcome to my TED Talk. No, I just think that
I definitely agree. Like, to predict the future, you just live in the future. Right. That's the best way to learn.
And
everyone should be AI maxing.
Yes.
Just to figure it out. Otherwise, you're going to have no sense of where it's going.
I think like today's virtue signal is, I think that it's not helpful to people. Like, there are people who are going to listen to this who want to be rich. And they're going to be like, oh no, like, I shouldn't use AI
with the models because I just assume I can brute force my way through it. And I'll throw Codex, Claude, and Gemini at the same problem over and over and just waste tokens to save time. And I think no matter how expensive these models might seem, they're still way cheaper than a human. So I would say just waste tokens, save time. Don't look at the tokens either as inputs or outputs. Just look at your time and look at the final output. And even if they're writing low quality code, which I know in many cases they are, it's not necessarily production quality or scalable code. When the time
seems like basically if the craziest idea that I discovered is that if you're just willing to spend like $100,000 a year on tokens, you can basically live like you are a normal citizen in 2028. Like, it's just pretty clear that token costs are going to come down. Compute is
graded without having to have humans in the loop saying this is good, this is bad. For example, if you're trying to do creative writing with these models, they're going to output huge amounts of content. They can output infinite essays. Who's to say it's good on the other side? Even if you hire some low-wage people to sit around call center style and say this is good or this is bad, it's only as good as their taste. I think one of the reasons why these coding models got really good recently, there's multiple. One is they're doing sort of almost recursive training where like one model is helping improve the next one. But I think the bigger reason might just be that a lot of the best software engineers started using these models in the last few months, and their taste has now feeding back in. So you're getting access to their code plus their taste as to what's good and what's not. You need high taste feedback loops to improve these models, and those are harder to develop than they look. In certain domains, it's tractable, and in other domains, it's hard to see how it happens.
Or queuing system. And those, the models can suggest them. But that's the thing, where like, you'll see it and you'll be like, no, I want to use this other thing. That's the type of little feedback that I'm saying really matters, and the types of output that you seem to get at this point.
Taste and judgment, right? Taste and judgment. That said, you can ask them, which one should I use and why? And they know everything. They'll give you really good trade-offs.
That's the change that I was saying has happened recently, where you would say, hey, go and put this super high cardinality telemetry data into Postgres. And it's like, no, bro, like, we don't put that kind of data into Postgres. Like, you should consider ClickHouse or Athena or whatever. Like, that's happened to me a lot, which is really impressive. But the thing I'm still like kind of struggling with is clearly the human is still completing the model. Like at one point, is it the other way about? Like the human is is it performant? And are you still motivated to invest all of those tokens in maintaining it in prod?
I mean, humans are becoming verifiers, right? And that's kind of how we train these models with good verification data. And now we need human verifiers. So yeah, I think a lot of the old function of people, lawyers, engineers, operations people moved to verifying the stack and saying, yeah, this is roughly correct, and I'll roughly stand behind it, and I'll support you if it goes wrong. And math is a very bounded domain, but it's a big one. I'm not saying it'll never get there. I don't have that confidence, but I think at least at the moment, I would say that truly stepping outside, surprising people, that's still the domain of humans. And I think humans plus AI is where it's all moving to. Like human without AI, forget it. Pure AI, I don't think is there yet, but I think human plus AI, we're in that era. How long we stay there, you know what the answer is. It is rare that they will contradict you. You'd have to be pretty wrong for them to contradict you. They're trying to please you, and I don't think they have any long-lived theory of mind of their own. So they're always kind of morphing towards you, and they're going to find the answer that you're looking for. So if you think the answer is in a certain area, they can actually be handling and guiding the robots and the AIs. And so if we don't get ASI, if AI gets you to expert level, but doesn't go beyond, still needs human guidance, taste, and creativity, humans are still the motivated things in the environment. And so people become like Pokemon trainers. You're like robot handlers, right? AI handlers, and you use that to accelerate. And that's to the truth of it, that's what we're seeing today. The people who are using AI today are more productive than ever. They are not being displaced. The only reason you're being displaced by an AI is because you refuse to use the AI. If you're using the AI, you have more work than ever.